Carol Scott and the Ideas Centre have been working closely over the last number of months to explore creativity, using it as a tool to release potential in organisations by transforming the way they think. The origin of the problem we're trying to address here is the fact that the world is changing at an ever-increasing rate, exponential in all forms, from technology, politics, economics, choose whatever environmental factor, and things are changing enormously. And yet we as individuals and as organisations tend to change at a much slower rate because we tend to look backwards in order to make sense of what's happening around us and then decide how to act moving forward, which produces an enormous reality gap. That is the difference between the world that might be and the world that is around us. And creativity undoubtedly holds the key to release this potential. Now, creativity has a difficult press, if you like. If you introduce a creative type to an organisation, they tend to fall into various categories, at least the way we think about them. We treat them as either fluffy or scatty, maybe difficult to work with, certainly unpredictable. And if ever they're going to sit down with a client, we need to make sure there's a chaperone with them in order to undo whatever damage is being done, ideally as it's done. And yet there's a very simple definition of creativity. Creativity is simply the process by which ideas that are both novel and useful are generated. And that kind of transforms the process, because all the baggage that comes with the instinctive reaction to creativity tends to transform. Why wouldn't you want everyone in an organisation to be able to generate ideas that are both novel and useful? And the truth is that there are a number of blockages that sit in the way to that, a number of things that get in the way that prevent us all from being quite as creative as we might be. And they're all to do with the way the brain operates. There's the thinking process, the fact that we tend to split our thinking into two categories. One that's all to do with problem solving and the other that's all to do with problem exploration. And we tend to neglect the latter enormously, and therein lies a secret for creativity. Patterning systems, the fact that our brain operates as self-organised patterning systems, needs to be taken into consideration. We make sense of this world through patterns, a major advantage, but this same patterning tends to constrain our thinking moving forward if we're looking to introduce creativity. And finally, the concept of mindset. And we've been exploring this whole area to understand how we can unlock it. And you can use a whole range of creativity techniques in order to achieve that. And we've been developing competence in a number of these techniques, including superheroes, reversal and bionics, to mention but a few, all of which are geared at generating ideas that are both novel and useful. Of course, at the end of the day, merely generating novel and useful ideas isn't the main point. For the majority of organisations, it's an implementation thing that matters, and that's where the whole term of innovation comes in. And innovation is all about adding value through creativity. So if you're interested to find out any more about the techniques that we're using and think that it might be able to help your organisation, then please do get in contact with Carol.